Hello and welcome everyone to JavaScript course from zero to hero. Throughout this course, we will discuss each and everything related to JavaScript. So, first of all, what's JavaScript? JavaScript, it's a high-level language, object-oriented, multi-paradigm programming language. Inside JavaScript, you don't need to take care about memory management. It's based on objects as well. It have different style of programming, whatever imperative or declarative. We will discuss and see together all those kinds of style. So, if we're gonna discuss from web page component, we have three components: HTML, CSS3, and JavaScript inside any web page inside this world. So HTML, it's basically about the component of this page. CSS, it's about the representation of these components. JavaScript, it's about how those components gonna interact with each other, what's the functionality between web page component. So we can conclude JavaScript, it's about adding dynamic effect to web application inside the browser. So let's move to strings part. So from here we would like to use demo.html inside Visual Studio Code, and inside the scripting area we will use an example to show you strings inside JavaScript. So here I would like to use concatenation function. So here I'm gonna define a few variables to show you this example. I will define first name variable, and this one will have Mo, and last name gonna be Darwish, and one more variable for job senior software engineer. After that I'm gonna build my statement, variable statement, and here we build our statement gonna be I am, first name plus some space here, last name plus working as a job. So let's print out this statement and see the output from this. Here I'm gonna save this file and I'm gonna go to Google Chrome and do one more refresh to this page. It's gonna be like this: I am Mo Darwish, working as a senior software engineer. So here we can see plus operator here work as a concatenation between those strings. But inside JavaScript we have literal. This one gonna make it easy better than this plus operator. Let me show you right now by defining another variable, and this time I'm gonna use this. So here I'm gonna say the same, I am $, and I'm gonna use curly bracket. Here I'm gonna type the first variable, first name, after that some space, last name, and working as a $, curly bracket. Let me test this one out. I'm gonna say console.log statement2. As well, I'm gonna navigate to Google Chrome. I'm gonna test out this one, and look at that. I am Darwish, working as a senior software engineer. Same result, but right now it's a little bit more easy. As well, we can use this to print multi-lines. Look at that by saying here console.log, and here I'm gonna put this symbol, and from here we can say Mo, enter, Darwish, enter, software, enter, engineer, and out of this it's gonna look like that. Let me have a look by saving this file and go back again to Google Chrome, and here as you can see Mo Darwish, it's gonna look like that. Let's move to use strict part. Use strict is usually written in the beginning of your script. It's basically have a function to activate the strict mode to your JavaScript. As well, it have a lot of advantage in cases that you write a program and you don't know where exactly this error has been done, because sometimes JavaScript will not detect the bugs inside your code. Let's have example here and see how it gonna work. So to activate use strict, all you need to do to put single quote and type use strict. After that I will here define a variable, for example has a certificate, and this one gonna be false. As well, I'm gonna define a constant, and this one gonna be pass the test or not. Okay, and this one gonna be true. So the logic here, you already pass your test, so you should get your certificate. So to apply something like this, I'm gonna define an if condition. If you pass your test, you should directly get your certificate. But here we will put a bug inside our script by, I mean to forget this a letter. So directly I'm gonna say has certificate. It's like right now I'm defining a new variable because in intention I mean to forget this a letter, not has a certificate. Here I put has certificate directly. It means this is a different variable from this one. Okay, and here let's put this one by true, and let's print here a message in case if you has a certificate, which it's the original variable here. I'm gonna print out in the console.log that congrats for your certificate. Okay, and I'm gonna save here without a use strict mode. I will comment this one out. Here I will navigate back to my Google Chrome and I will do one more refresh. Here, as you can see, it didn't print out anything. So in this case, we have here a problem in our script because you already passed your test and you didn't see the message of congratulations for your certificate. That means there is a problem in your script. It doesn't work as expected. So in this case, we will use strict, which is gonna enforce our JavaScript to detect this issue. After this, I will come back again and do one more refresh. Look at that. It's gonna tell you here, unquote reference, has certificate is not defined. Has certificate is not defined. This you put it here, and this one it is not defined. Let's move to arrow function. Basically, it's an alternative to traditional function expression, but it's limited and cannot be used in all situations. Let's have a look. Doesn't have its own binding, not suitable for call, cannot be used as a constructor, even cannot use yield within its body. Let's have a look about comparison between traditional function and an arrow function. So here we have a very simple function. This function have a name, increment value, and take one parameter a, and this one gonna return a plus 100. So this is a traditional way of writing a function, but there are three options to write arrow function. Maybe the first way you're gonna say you're gonna remove function word itself, so it's gonna be directly the argument, which it was a, and we're gonna replace the function by this arrow, and we can keep everything as it is. We can keep the body, we can keep the return word and everything. Okay, we have other option to write the arrow function by removing the parentheses itself and remove return word to keep it as it is. This is a parameter, it was a, and here is that the arrow function is gonna return a plus 100. Or you can keep the argument a plus 100. So we can conclude out of this return, parentheses, argument, parameter, body, all of them is just an optional for you if you're gonna use arrow function. You can write it in this very simple and straightforward way. But here there is a case you're gonna need the parentheses. For example, if I come back again to function of the traditional way and remove the parameter, it's gonna have 0 parameter. In that way, I need to remove the parameter from here and keep the parentheses. So gonna be type it like this. And there is another case if this one have 2 parameter or more. for example A and B. So in this case as well, you need to have parentheses in your arrow function, so it's gonna look like this. As well, we will have to use the body in case it's gonna be more complex, not this simple way, because this simple way just like gonna return. But in case this traditional function have, for example, to add some calculation, for example, we can say let A equal 50 inside this function. So here we need to keep this, you know, scope of the function. And the same way in the arrow function, here I have to use, here we have two parameters, so let me remove all the others. So here we need to use two parameters, A and P. As well, we need to keep this curly bracket to keep the scope of the function, because here we have multi-line, not only one line. So I'm gonna say let A equal 50, and for example, if we have B, let B, for example, equal 20, and do whatever the calculation. And if you would like to define any kind of object, or if you need to call a function from this function, whatever you would like to do, but in this case you need to keep the body scope. One more part here, if you would like to print out the result out of this, so in the traditional function it's very straightforward. We're gonna say console.log, and here I'm gonna call this method by take this one as a copy and pass here the parameter. First parameter could be 20 and the other one could be 70. Okay, just like that. But in the arrow function I have other way. So here is at my arrow function. Here I can define a constant, and this one, let's have it a name result, and whatever this function gonna return, I can straightforward print it out console.log and print out the result out of this function. So for calling this function, no need to redefine a variable, so I will remove this let from the body and I will keep it like that. As well, for calling the arrow method, here we put the method name, but we need to define or add two parameters. Here I'm gonna say a value gonna be 50 and b value gonna be 20, for example, and Control S and save. And to test this one out, we can navigate to Google Chrome. After doing one more refresh, here we can see 150 and 150. Let's have a look about arrays. Basically, it's used to store multiply values in a single variable, just like a list that have an index that gonna start from index 0, and each array gonna store multi values. Let's have an example about this. So here we defined an array of name cars, and this array gonna be consist of 3 elements: Toyota, Volvo and BMW car. The index of Toyota gonna be index of 0, index 1 and index 2. Here, if we're gonna print out the elements of this array, we're gonna use console.log, and here is the name of the array cars. Let's have a look about Google Chrome. Here we have Toyota, Volvo and BMW, the name of the array. As well, if we need to add an more element to this array, we're gonna use cars, the name of the array, dot push. After this, the Mercedes, which gonna be the value to be added by end of this array. So after saying console.log.cars, so if we're gonna print again cars array, here we're gonna find that Mercedes has been added to the end of this array. But if you would like to add one more value to the beginning of the array, like Tesla, in this case we're gonna use cars.unshift and the value of Tesla. This one gonna have this result: Tesla, Toyota, Volvo, PM, Mercedes. And we have one more method to remove element from this array, which in our case called pop. Pop will remove the last element of your array, in our case, which it was in our scenario Mercedes. So here we can see cars.pop. Here, after we print this array, we find out that Mercedes has been removed. As well, we can keep the value of popped value like this. I'm gonna say constant popped equal, and if I would like to print out this one, I'm gonna say console.log and print out this popped. This popped should give me the value of Mercedes. After refreshing this one, here this is the value that has been popped from the end of this array. As well, I'm gonna show you how to deal with index. So here I'm gonna type console.log, and here's the name of my array cars, and I'm gonna use .index of, and here I need to give it a value out of this array. Here we have an array consists of 4 elements: Tesla, Toyota, Volvo, and BMW. So if I would like to check the index of Tesla, I'm gonna take it as a copy and paste it out here, Control S. I'm gonna go back and do one more refresh to Google Chrome, and here Tesla value have an index of 0. If I would like to check about the index of, for example, BMW, so I will take this one as a copy. Don't forget about semicolon here by end of this one. Let's have BMW here. It should give me the index of 3. I will do one more refresh here exactly, because we calculate the index starting from 0, not from 1. So here is a BMW, not 4, just 3. So let's move to objects part inside JavaScript. So let's dive quickly inside the script area, and let me show you how to define an object inside JavaScript. So here I'm gonna define an object. This could be for the person number 1, and here we need to give it some key and value. First of all, his first name, Mu, and you're gonna put comma by end of each key and value. Last name, about his job, date of birth, and etc. So let's move to how to define methods inside the object. Here let's have a very simple method to print a name. So to print a name here we need to say console.log, and to access these properties you need to use this keyword. So here this dot, and here you can find all the properties inside this object. So I'm gonna say dot first name plus this dot last name. This is how we're gonna print out the full name. Let me put some space between both of them like that. Not only like this, we can as well calculate the age. Here we're gonna use this dot date of birth, and if we would like to use this calculate age outside the object, it's straightforward. Yeah, we forgot here comma between both of methods. We can use here console.log, and here we can say person1 dot calculate age, and we're gonna call this method directly. Not only like this, we can as well console.log, and here person1 dot print full name, and don't forget about parentheses. Definitely let me print the full name first, then I'm gonna print his calculate age. So as you can see here inside the object, it have some properties. You should put these properties only in one place, because maybe in the future you need to change the title, so you need to change it only from one place, not from everywhere in your code. Besides that, those methods gonna modify or print or do whatever for those properties, and from outside the object you can get what's inside this object by printing the full name or calculate the age. So according to this object, it provides you only 2 methods, so you can use those 2 methods everywhere. If you would like to add one more method, you need to add it inside the object. Let's have a look. by saving this code out and navigating to Google Chrome. So from here I'm gonna do one more refresh, and here I can find Mo Darwish. It's about the full name, and here is that 32 is the current age. So here I got a task for you. As you understand how to work with methods and objects, here I need you to write a method to print out Mo is 32 years old and he is a senior software engineer. So please go and write this method right now and test out how much you understand this part. So let's move to DOM and DOM manipulation part inside JavaScript. So what's DOM exactly? DOM stands for Document Object Model. It's a structured representation of HTML document that allow JavaScript to access HTML element and manipulate the style of it. So we will start from document, which is about special object that is act as an entry point to the DOM, something like document.querySelector. Let's have a look from Visual Code. So here inside our Visual Code we have an HTML and our script. So inside our HTML body I added a paragraph. This one have cover all JavaScript points, and this paragraph have an ID of test. So to access this DOM using DOM manipulation, we need to start as an entry point by saying document. So you need to type document dot get element by ID, because this an HTML element and you need to access this element throughout an ID, and the ID here is test. So we get element by ID and give this parameter the test, which is ID dot inner HTML, and after that equal any value to be replaced inside this paragraph. So if I save this one and let's test it in our Google Chrome, it didn't work. He told you uncode type error, cannot set property inner HTML of null. Also, we are putting our script in a correct way, but you have to know that we put our script before the paragraph, not after it. That's why he couldn't release or he couldn't detect this part. So you need to take this one as a copy, and let me comment out this one, and before end of HTML and after the body gonna end, you need to put your script in this area and do one more save. So defining of HTML element should come first. After that, the DOM manipulation should come after this part. I showed you. Let me come back again and do one more refresh, and here is it gonna work right now. Hello, it's replaced this paragraph. Let's see one more example for DOM. Here I define it an input, this one of type text, and it have an ID of text first name and a placeholder, put your first name. This is basically a simple text box gonna accept your first name. After that there is a button to show your first name. So here is a button. This one have an ID of submit, and on click it's gonna call this function called it show name, and here is that we have a value on this button called it show name. You can put here any kind of value, and inside the script the definition of this function called it show name, which you're gonna fire directly on each click on this button. So here is a traditional way of function called it show name, doesn't return anything, so it's gonna be of type void. No need to type void, by the way, it's gonna be a default. And here I define it a constant called it first name. This one equal document dot get element by ID. So this one gonna check over this HTML element about this ID called the text first name. Here is it, he gonna find it, but I don't need this element, I need the value of this element, so we need to type it in this way, value of this element. After that, the value that you're gonna type it inside this text box is gonna be stored directly inside this constant called it first name. And very easy, you just need to say console.log this first name. From Google Chrome, I will do one more refresh here. Put your first name text box is showing, and beside that there is a button called it show name. All you need to do, just put your first name and click on this button here, just print it out Darwish. Whatever you're gonna print here, it's gonna be showed over there. Thank you for watching the first part of this tutorial. Please submit your questions or feedback or anything. I'm gonna be happy to answer all of them. Thank you. So what's JavaScript engine? It's basically a program that executes JavaScript code. Let's have a look here about JavaScript engine. So that's basically the JavaScript engine. Call stack is about execution context, where our code is gonna be executed. However, heap is unstructured memory, where JavaScript objects are stored. Throughout this module, we will discuss about destructuring the arrays. Let's move to Visual Code and understand this concept. So I will start by defining an array. This array gonna consist of 4 elements. After that, to print out the elements of this array as we know before, we're gonna use console.log and the array name itself. And to test this one out, here is it. After refreshing in my Google Chrome, I can find my array consists of 4 elements and gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4. As well, we know how to assign the values of array to specific variables like we did before. Constant, for example, x, and this x gonna have the index of 2 inside the array, so this one will have the value of 3. If we would like to test out this one, we're gonna use console.log and print out this x. After doing one more refresh, here I can find number 3 as a value of this array. But destructuring array, here we gonna say constant, and I gonna define some variables like a, b, c, d, and I gonna say equal the array itself. So here I'm doing destructuring concept inside the JavaScript. Here the array consists of 4 elements, so each element gonna be stored in each constant. So here a gonna have 1, b gonna have 2, c gonna have 3, and d gonna have 4. And to test this one out, I'm gonna print console.log, for example, c. After doing one more refresh, here it gave me 3. And for more confirmation, I'm gonna print out all those constants a, b, c, and d, and print out this one. And here, look at that. And this mainly is a concept of destructuring. Let's have here one more example. Here I defined an object with a name gem, and this one have 2 array. One is called location and the other one called it categories. Let's see how destructuring array gonna work with this. So here let's define a constant, and inside this one gonna have location 1 and location 2. And here to assign those locations to those constant, we gonna say gem dot location. So here location 1 should have a value of France, location 2 should have a value of US. Let's have a look about this by printing out this one. So here location 1 and location 2, I'm gonna save out this one. Doing one more refresh, I can find location 1 have a value of France, location 2 have a value of US. But what about if I did here a free space, like location 1 comma free space comma location 3, not, or let's keep it like this, location 2. Location 2 in this case should have a value of Belgium. So after doing one more refresh, look at that, right now it have a value of Belgium, because inside destructuring it gonna do mapping. France gonna go for the first parameter, US gonna go to the second one, Belgium gonna go to the third one. Hi back. Throughout this session we will do destructuring to an object inside JavaScript. So here from previous example we created an object called gem. So how to get this name from this object? It's very simple. All you need to do is 2 steps. The first step, to define a constant, but this time instead of we will put curly bracket. The second part, you need to get the exact name of your key. Here in my case it was name. I will take it as a copy and paste it here, and here is it, get my object name gem. After this, let's print this one out by saying console.log, and here the name, Control S, and let me test this one out. So here after doing one more refresh, I can find gold gem, the name of this object. So let here adding some more data to this object called gem. For example, I'm gonna add opening hours, and that one gonna include, for example, Sat stands for Saturday, close at 23. And what about Sunday? Gonna be open at 15 and close around 22. And for Monday, gonna open from 6 till 11 in the night. Okay, that's perfect. So here let's move again and how to do destructuring to this part. So here we're gonna do destructuring for this object. We're gonna say the exact name of this key, opening hours, and as usual we're gonna put the object name gem. But this time I need to print this one out in a different name. Here if I put a colon gem time, and I'm gonna print out this gem time, it's gonna detect the new name for this, console.log, and I'm gonna say gem time, and let me save and go to Chrome. I can find here the opening hours for the Let's have here one more challenge for solving this example. For example, right now we understand how to do destructuring for an object inside JavaScript. But let me give you this example. Let x equal, for example, 5. As well, we got another variable called y and have a value of 10. Actually, we're gonna define a constant of object, and this object gonna have some values. Here, for example, x gonna have 22, and for y gonna have, for example, 40. But right now we would like to do destructuring for this object using those 2 variables. So here, as we did in our previous example, by taking constant and curly bracket, and here x and y, and that one gonna equal my object. Here I'm gonna take it as a constant. But if I save this one and go to Google Chrome and do one more refresh, I will get this error. Identifier x has already been declared. Yes, because here we already declared x, so we cannot use another constant for x. It doesn't work. So that's basically a challenge for you. Please pause here the video and do some research, as well post your answer to me. Hello back. Hope you already post the answer for me. Here it is called mutating variables inside JavaScript. All you need to do is wrapping this destructuring object between parentheses, and no need for this constant. This time it's gonna work. Let me type here console.log, and here for the first variable x, and do it one more time, this y. It should give me those values. For x it should give me 22, and for y it should give me 40. Let me test this one out by going back to Google Chrome and do one more refresh. Here is it. I can find x with 22 and y with 40. Thank you for watching and see you in the next session. Hello back. Throughout this session we will discuss the benefit of spread operator inside JavaScript. So here we will have, for example, an array. This array just have 3 values, and out of this array we will create another array throughout traditional way. But this one gonna be headache. So how to use spread operator to be more dynamic and get benefit out of this? Let's see an example here. Here, for example, let's create an array, and this one gonna have some values 3, 4, 5. And let's have one more array, or the new array, and that one gonna have 1 and 2, and we need to have those values to be inside this array. To do this one throughout traditional way, we're gonna use the name of the array and the index of the first value, which it's basically 3, and we will repeat the same 1 array of index 2. So this one should give us 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because here we added value 1 and 2, and array of index 0 gonna be reflected for value 3, array of index 1 gonna be reflected for value 4, and etc. But this one is just like an old way to print an array. This is just like an traditional way to create an array. For example, if this array gonna be consist of 100 value, you gonna do this? Of course not. So let me here first of all print out the new array to see the result of this here, and let me test it by going to Google Chrome and do here one more refresh. Here you can find this one have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Here inside JavaScript we have a spread operator, and this one make our life easy. To do so, for that all you need here to define a constant, for example new array 2, for example, and here you're gonna have 1 and 2, and after that all you need to do just put 3 dots and the name of the array. Here in my case is ARR, just like that. All you need to do this. After that, let me print this one out, console.log. Here in my case new array 2, and let me print out this one. This one should as well give me the same result, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I will test it out throughout Google Chrome. Here you can find the same result. So spread operator make your life easy. No need to repeat all of those values inside your new array. Just put there your spread operator and the name of the array. In addition to that, spread operator not only working with array, it could be working with strings, other data structure like maps. We will see that one later on throughout this course, but not with objects. So let's here define one more string, str, and this one just have my name, Darwish. And out of this I gonna define just one more array, and here I gonna use spread operator with this string. After this just empty letter, after this m, after this o stands for mu. And here let me print out this array, new array 3, much better by testing out this one throughout Google Chrome. Here this one gonna give me the string as an letters. So Darwish stands right now for D, A, R, and etc. After this empty letter, after that MO. So right now you got an array consists of 10 letters. Just like, get to separate the letters out of the string. Spread operator with function is more practical way to use spread. Throughout this session, we will see how to do this. So, for example, here we will have a function to print your full name. And to save time, I prepared this function, just straightforward, to print your full name. Gonna accept two parameters, first name and last name, and gonna use a straightforward console.log your full name here, $sign full name, $sign last name. After that, here I'm gonna define an array. This array gonna be consist of two elements, my first name and my last name. And here to use this spread operator to deal with this function, here I'm gonna call this function which have a name print full name, and here I'm gonna use spread operator and the array names. So this one, if I would like to test it out, it should give me, in this case, my full name Mo Darwish. So let me go back to Google Chrome, and after doing one more refresh, your full name Mo Darwish. This way, it's basically a practical way to use a spread operator in daily life. For example, if you're gonna have an array have more values, something like title, all you need to do here, for example, to show you title, and I'm gonna have here one more parameter or one more elements inside this array, Mr. And after that, after doing one more refresh, it's gonna be your full name, Mr. Mo Darwish. Thank you for watching and see you in the next session. Let's move to spread pattern. It has the same syntax as spread operator, same three dots, but it does the opposite. Let's have a look. So let's get rid of all of this. First of all, let's compare between spread operator and rest pattern. Spread operator gonna have the assignment on the right side. For example, if we have here constant array, and that one gonna have some values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and after that spread operator, and here 9 and 10. It's gonna look like that. The spread operator gonna be on the right side. But on the other case, if we have a constant, that one gonna have A, B, and in front of this gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here A gonna have 1, B gonna have 2, and if I would like to have all the others on the rest pattern, here it's gonna work throughout rest pattern, not through spread operator, because this time it's gonna be on the left side. So here it's gonna be the same technicality, same syntax, three dots, and after that you're gonna name it anything. You're gonna name it, for example, others. And here, if I would like to print out others, console.log, and let me print others, it's gonna give me 3, 4, 5. Let's go back again to Google Chrome and do one more refresh. Here is it, gonna be 3, 4, 5. So the first comparison between both of them, we can say spread operator gonna be on the right side, but for this one gonna do the opposite. So here rest pattern on the left side. In addition to that, let's have one more example to see how rest pattern gonna work with functions. So here I'm gonna define a very straightforward function, have a name, show, and that one function, and gonna have rest pattern of some letters. And this function do nothing, just print out some letters, console.log, and here it's gonna print out this letters. But look at that. Here I didn't identify how many parameters for this function. But if I call this function by saying show and give this one, for example, 2 letters, A and B, or give it 3 parameter like A, B, and C. And what about if I give it 4 parameter A? Let me take this one as a copy to save time and paste it here and just put some more letters D and E. So it's gonna work with 2 parameter, 3 parameter, and even 5 parameter. It doesn't matter how many parameters you're gonna pass to this function. Hi there to this challenge number 2. Here in our previous example, we show it to you how to use REST pattern in your functions. But I will do a small modification to this function, and here is your challenge. For example, I will remove this and I will change the name of this function to be add, and this function instead of letters it's gonna be numbers, and instead of this letter it's gonna be numbers. And right now I'm gonna have a function have a name add, and first of all I would like to add 2 plus 4, and the second function gonna add 3 numbers, 3 plus 9 plus 10, and the last one gonna have 5 parameters, 5, 4, 6, 2, and 10. Right now your challenge to do here a little bit modification to let this function show up the result of this submission. So this one should give me 6 and etc. for other function. So right now if I save out this one and go back again to Google Chrome, it's just gonna print out 2 and 4, 3, 9, 10, and the numbers of this. But your challenge is to do a little bit small modifications to this challenge number 2 to let this function show up the summation of those number. Please pause the video here and take your time and submit your answer to me. Hi back. Thank you for solving out this challenge. Please compare your answer with this. That one is a little bit straightforward because by end of day right now we got an array consists of 2 elements, 3 elements, 5 elements. It doesn't matter how long is it. So all you need to do inside this function is to define a variable, and this variable let's have a name of result, and 0 it is considered as an idle number inside summation, and on multiplication gonna be 1. So here I'm gonna put the default value for the result with 0. After that I need to build any kind of iteration using for loop, while, or do while. Here let's have for example 4, and as we got to know inside an array the index gonna start from 0. So I'm gonna start my iteration from x equal 0. After that the stopping condition for me inside an array gonna be I less than numbers, which is it's a name of the array dot length, and the last part of this iteration gonna be x plus plus, it means x plus 1. And inside the body of this iteration I gonna put here my equation. In my case it's gonna be result equal result plus numbers of this index, which in my case it's x. So that one gonna work as a cumulative. So first of all 2 plus 0 gonna equal 2. After that, the next one is gonna be the new value of the result. It's actually 2. And the next value inside my array gonna be 4. So after this, it's gonna give me 6. So the final value of the result gonna be 6 throughout this equation. So if I come here and I say console.log, in my case just straightforward result, it should give me 6 on this call, it should give me 22 on this call, it should give me 26. So here from Google Chrome, it just give me out 6, 22 and 26. And that's exactly what we expected out of those calls. And for more making sure, let me take this one as a copy and put here a different numbers. For example, gonna be 90 and this one gonna be 30. And let me come here back again, do one more refresh, gonna give me a new value for this. Hope you understand out this one. By the way, you can retype this equation in a more professional way by typing result plus equal numbers of x. That one have the same meaning exactly like that equation. Thank you for watching and see you in the next session.